Well, we are continuing to check what's happening in and around our borders, and let's now take you to Beitbridge, a border which has been closed, but it hasn't stopped Zimbabweans who are desperate to leave their country. Like we saw a short while ago with eNCA, with the border with Mozambique, the Libombo border. Let's go live now to Slindelo Masikane, who's at the Beitbridge border with Zimbabwe this morning. Slindelo, very good morning to you. Just looking at the background where you are at the border, it looks pretty quiet. We saw the scenes which are different at the Libombo border post on the eastern side of the country. That's in Komati Port, the Libombo border post with Mozambique, where eNCA has been painting a picture of people still trying to get in. But it looks like it's quiet there at Beitbridge border with Zimbabwe.
You would think so, but and I think, of course, in terms of what we usually know of the activity that happens at the Beitbridge border post, it's usually very busy, a lot of economic activity that takes place, not only in terms of the travel that takes place between those moving from South Africa to Zimbabwe, but a lot of business as well, in which has been affected by the closure of the border post. A lot of the businesses that operate here are really suffering. Many of them saying that it's not the virus that's going to kill them now, but hunger that's going to kill them. And like you've said, that the economic conditions that are taking place in Zimbabwe are certainly leading to what we're seeing in terms of an influx of Zimbabwean nationals trying to cross the border illegally. Now I'm going to ask Brad JK to just move with me. You said that it looks quiet, but it looks quiet because what we are seeing is that security forces here on the border post are hard at work in terms of ensuring that they are catching those that are trying to cross the border illegally. Now we are seeing that we've got a number of soldiers and army officials deployed to the Beitbridge border post. As you can see, just to my left, we've got some soldiers who are based at one of the checkpoints here, and they are busy checking people who come through this particular area, which is quite close to the fence of the Beitbridge border. They are checking people, asking them whether what business is bringing them here. Checking their identifications, ensuring that people are obeying COVID-19 protocols. As you can see, this soldier right now is going to check this man's identity. He's taking out his driver's license. And this is what we've been seeing for most of the morning here at the Beitbridge border post. The security personnel is really hard at work, I must say, but it looks quiet, but what we're seeing behind the scenes is that the officials that have been deployed to the border are ensuring that people are not engaging in criminal or illegal activity. We know that a number of private vehicles are being used to actually transport and pick up those that cross the border illegally. So it's quite critical for these officials to be checking people's identifications and seeing exactly who's in the car and whether everybody is accounted for. Now, if we take a walk further down, you can see just to my left, there's an immigration vehicle stationed here quite close to this checkpoint. And that is because for most of the morning, officials have been actually rounding up Zimbabwean nationals who have been caught trying to cross the border illegally. We are seeing that processes are underway, where we have an official from the Department of Home Affairs who is taking fingerprints, who is accounting for those that have actually been nabbed just overnight. I'm going to ask Brad JK to move in just a little bit closer, and you can see that inside this tent we've got several Zimbabwean nationals who have been caught trying to cross the border illegally. As you can see, they are trying to hide their faces for now, but this is what's taking place for most of the morning. We understand that there's more Zimbabwean nationals that are expected to be brought here, and then their fingerprints will be taken to ensure that their details are on record, and we know that they will be taken back to their home country of Zimbabwe.
So they are awaiting deportation, so to speak. But commercially as well, are we seeing any movement? Because the president announced that while this land ports of entry are being closed until the 15th of February, restricting a large part of movement, the movement of goods is not going to be stopped. I'm asking this because we know that Zimbabwe is in the economic doldrums, and many commercial interests in Zimbabwe rely on South Africa.
No, that is definitely taking place, Bradan. We saw a lot of trucks, in fact, moving yesterday as well as this morning. That kind of activity has certainly not been stopped. There is a lot of movement in terms of commercial goods or essential services moving in and out of the border. But what we did notice, I must point out, Bradan, is that late yesterday, when we were about to pack up and leave, one Zimbabwean national who was actually desperate to go back home had been stopped here at the Beitbridge border post, and he was saying that officials at the border were not allowing him to go back home. And what he understood from the president's speech was that if you were going to return back to your home country, that kind of movement was going to be allowed. It was only entry into South Africa that was prohibited, and specific personnel in terms of what is said in the regulations would be allowed to come in. And so he was pleading with officials to allow him to go back to his home country, because he was saying that now that stricter regulations are in place in terms of the adjusted level 3 regulations, he does not have work in South Africa anymore, and he had gathered all his belongings and was going to return back home to Zimbabwe. However, he found himself stuck still here in South Africa and had to spend a night in his car. So I think some of those details still need to be fleshed out in terms of what officials on the ground understand on how the closure of the borders is going to work.
Yeah, meanwhile, they are continuing to work at the checkpoint at the border to arrest those who are trying to come in illegally, and they are facing deportation. Thank you very much, Slindelo Masikane, at the Beitbridge border post. Now,